Am I the jerk for telling my friend she can't comment on my pregnancy anymore? I, 30 female, am 22 weeks pregnant. I have a friend, 30 female Lisa, that's never been pregnant, but she was heavily involved in her sister's, Jane, pregnancy last year. Jane had a very high-risk pregnancy, and it was very scary for them both. I, on the other hand, have a very normal pregnancy. I have a very healthy baby, but my mental health got worse during my pregnancy. Very bad depression. I was admitted to inpatient care for a bit. Other than that, I lost 10 kilos during the first trimester. Doctor said this is normal. I am overweight and my nausea was very bad, so I had nothing to stress about. But Lisa, however, had an opinion on everything. The fact that I lost 10 kilos isn't normal because Jane gained 20 kilos. I'm on antidepressants safe for baby. Jane doctor advised her not to go on any antidepressants because it could harm the baby. Jane had to make appointments every week in the third trimester. Jane's doctor said she couldn't eat or drink this and that. You get the idea. I have other friends who I asked for advice, but Lisa kept on giving her opinions to me. And if I'm being honest, I think all of her advice had me so worried and stressed it was part of my depression, because I was honestly having to double-check what I'm eating, then taking a breath, and remembering that I am not Jane, my pregnancy is normal. I did tell Lisa all this, that my pregnancy is normal, and I'm not experiencing more than half of what Jane was. But she just kept going. She even said she can't believe I'm having a boy because she was so sure it's a girl because my symptoms were the same as Jane's. When I mentioned the other day that baby's limbs was measuring bigger than the weeks that it was, she said I'll definitely be having a C-section and I should ask my doctor, maybe there's something wrong, because Jane, something I can't remember. Reason, I asked my other friends, and they said their babies measured normal, so they don't know. When I asked doctor about this, my doctor asked me if I'm still going to therapy because I seem to be having a lot of anxiety over things that's not necessary. I told her that my friend is making all these observations, and my doctor said, maybe it's time to ignore your friend. Lisa asked about the C-section. I told her doctor said I shouldn't be worried, and she about went of saying Jane's doctor this and Jane's doctor that. I then told her unless she's the one that has been pregnant, she should stop giving me advice. And she should stop giving me advice on a high-risk pregnancy when I've told her multiple times that I have a healthy one. And I will be limiting contact with her until I give birth. She cried and said she just wanted to help, and my other friends are calling me a gentle bee. Because I don't need to cut her off, and she just wants to feel a part of what I'm going through. But to be honest, I think this was something I needed to do a lot sooner. So am I the jerk? Am I the jerk for refusing to tell my mom who told me her husband isn't my dad? I, 16 female, always wondered why my dad treated me different to my siblings, 15 female, 12 male, and 11 male. Even though me and my sister are just over a year apart in age, he would love on her and was super supportive of her and her interests. He was her cheerleader when she needed one, and he made sure to be there for all her plays. He's the same with my brothers, but he's never been to any of my recitals. He never showed an interest in the stuff I liked. Whenever I went to him for cheering up, he brushed me off. And he spoiled my siblings by buying them toys, candy, or whatever, but he never got that stuff for me. When mom wasn't home, I was either pushed to sleep at a friend's house or a family member's house, or he'd do a movie night or game night with my siblings and told me to stay in my room. I cried to my mom so many times about it, and she told me he treated me that way because we were the most alike and we butted heads. But I never fought him or disagreed with him. I never got the time with him to do any of that. So when a relative told me a couple of months ago that he's not my dad, my mom was seeing him and my biological dad. Dad knew about my biological dad and said he wasn't going to keep sharing her, so mom chose him. And then when she found out about me, he said she could keep me regardless. But if I wasn't his, he wanted a kid of his own. They DNA tested me, and I'm not his, so my sister was born so close to me because of the promise. After hearing the truth and seeing proof, I confronted my parents. He told me now that I knew I could start calling him Drake instead of Dad. My mom was not as yay, she knows though. She has asked me every day, sometimes multiple times a day, who told me. She was pestered by several family members, to be honest, and she had no idea which of them said something, and I refused to tell. Even if it was disrespectful to do it behind her back, I'm glad I found out now. It also opened up the truth that I have no college savings like my siblings, and Drake doesn't want me to stay a day after my 18th birthday. He said I was never his, he never loved me, and he wants at least 1 year of just his family. All my mom cares about is finding out who. She tried to ground me, and she told me I needed to say because nobody should tell a kid stuff like this without a parent knowing and being there. She said hiding who they are also makes them bad because they are encouraging a minor to keep stuff from a parent intentionally to avoid consequences for the person. So am I the jerk for refusing to tell my mom who told me her husband isn't my dad? Am I the jerk for quitting my marriage? I recently filed for divorce after 6 years together, 2 years married. I have a 15-year-old stepdaughter and 17-year-old stepson. They are amazing kids academically. They stay out of trouble and treat people with kindness. After 2 years of marriage, I filed for divorce because my soon-to-be ex refuses to hold them accountable for not completing their chores or picking up their rooms. The chores consist of empty, fill the dishwasher, and take out the trash. Bare minimum. My ex had multiple talks with them, and it gets better for a week or so, and then all of the burden falls back on me. I get minimal help from him as well. The kids are continually rewarded by him with electronics, shopping sprees, concerts, floor seats, etc., even when they are not fulfilling their small tasks at home. I am the primary chauffeur to and from school because my stepson is too lazy to get his license. I take them to all of their appointments, school activities, etc. My father passed away less than 6 months ago unexpectedly, and I begged for help around the house while I figured out things. I was completely disregarded and told I overreact when things don't get done by my ex. It's been about 3 years of me asking for a united front and support with equal household responsibilities. Every time I tried to talk about it, he would go into complete defense mode and start picking out things about me that bothered him. Honestly, it always turned into an argument, and I would shut down with defeat. The icing on the cake is he questioned my integrity and trust by bringing up someone from my past, over 6+ years ago. And if they reached out to me when my dad passed away, which is a very sensitive topic for me. I spiraled out, handed my ring over, and filed a couple weeks later. After everything I've done for my blended family, personally, this never should have been a question. Ultimately, all of the build-up and what turned into resentment came crashing down that day because I felt like he thought I would hide something from him to this degree. Am I the jerk for quitting my marriage as I am being told? Am I the jerk for not reminding my ex-husband about our daughter's graduation? A bit of a backstory. My ex, 43, and I, 43, have been separated for years. We both went through rocky periods with substance abuse. I got clean and he continued to use off and on, choose toxic partners, and not help at all with our 3 girls, now 20, 19, and 16. Previously, we alternated whose house the girls lived at according to their wishes, and the other parent had weekends and vacations. A couple of years ago, my daughters no longer wanted to stay with Dad. I tried to encourage a relationship, but it was very much me and the girls reaching out, and me doing almost all the driving back and forth, the almost hour to where he moved. My middle daughter, 19, went and tried to stay one more time with him 3 years ago. She became his babysitter for his other child, cook, house cleaner, and verbal punching bag. She had a mental breakdown, and I took her home to me. Got her counseling and listened to all she had to share with me, loved her, and wiped all the tears. My girls finally communicated the mental and emotional abuse they endured and didn't share for fear of him getting angry. I put myself in the middle and put a stop to any of that. I let him know any of that, and we'd have legal ramifications. And validated all their emotions. It was heavy for them, but a heaviness I would gladly carry. I took time off work, ran here and there, and did everything I could to make senior year special same as oldest. Including trips to the university she's attending, so many scholarship applications, financial aid, and buying her everything she needed for college. I stopped messaging X and left it to my middle daughter to communicate with him if she felt the need. It was her decision. She said she'd wait to see if he reached out, as we all know June is graduation time. He never did. Fast forward to the day we're getting ready to go, and he calls me all mad that I didn't reach out to him to tell him I got called an a-hole for not including him and reminding him, communication works both ways, he said. What do you all think? Am I the jerk for not reminding my ex-husband about our daughter's graduation? Like and subscribe for daily Reddit daily stories. All rights belong to the original author. This video is for narration entertainment purposes only.